Remember when arguments used to happen face to face? You would be at a family dinner and your drunk head of an uncle would drop some wild inaccurate take about how things used to be. And suddenly, the entire table was in a heated discussion about whether modern music is ruining society. But you know what was the best part about these arguments? No one, all of a sudden, pulled up a tank of paperwork and said, "Ooh, I have some statistics that I have cherry-picked, of course, and a PowerPoint presentation to prove you wrong." It was just pure, unfiltered opinions. When you fast forward to today, this doesn't happen. No, my friend, this happens on social media, of course, where everybody is watching and no one is listening, I'm afraid. The days of a friendly debate are gone. Poof, vanished. With every argument, now we must fight to death. This usually follows up to passive-aggressive tweets, 45-minute video essays, and a deep dive into somebody's decade-old post for receipts. But the craziest part, half the time people aren't even arguing with real opinions anymore. They're arguing with their fake idea of the opposing side. It is carefully constructed by algorithms to make sure you're only ever seeing the most extreme, unhinged takes from the other side. So, how did we get here? But most importantly, have we actually lost the ability to have a proper debate? Have we just lost interest? So I'm gonna start with your uncle. There was a drunk head, but he had some points, which were, there was a time when the internet felt like this giant, messy library. You could stumble upon all sorts of ideas. Some were smart, and some were just absolutely bananas. You didn't always agree, but at least you were exposed to different perspectives. You have a different ideas. Nowadays, the internet isn't your library anymore. It's just your personalized theme park, and the rides are designed to keep you locked into one reality. Social media companies, I'm sure you're aware, they're not in the business of broadening your horizons. They're in the business of engagement. And you know what keeps people engaged? It's rage, validation, and the occasional viral clip of a doggo that is skateboarding. Yes, these sort of things. The more you like, you comment, and you share your content, which aligns with your, let's just say, opinions, the more this algorithm will feed you of the same. Now, before you know it, your feed is an infinite loop of ideas that could perfectly align with what you already believe. You disagree? That's cute. The algorithm will make sure you never see a well-reasoned counter-argument. Instead, you'll get the worst possible version of the opposing side. A ranting, incoherent mess that makes you feel like an absolute genius in comparison. But this isn't just your bias, it's actually your engineered reality. And if somehow you do stumble upon a different perspective, well, you got two choices, to be honest. One, you ignore it and let it disappear into the void. And second, you bring out the aggressive comment about, "This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen," before you run back to your safe little corner of the internet. And so, the echo chamber gets stronger. Once upon a time, debates were about listening. Maybe you could still disagree at the end, but at least there was a back and forward. This exchange of ideas, and this has some semblance of intellectual engagement. Now, forget it. Debate is dead, and performative outrage has taken its place. Look at online arguments. These aren't about understanding anymore. They're about winning, or more accurately, about humiliating the other side in a way that will get you more likes, shares, and even some retweets. People are chasing clout. If you don't do stuff for clout, you're just a Sigma, innit? Forget your facts or nuance. Just frame your opponent as an idiot, and then let the mob do the rest. You got a well thought out counterpoint? It doesn't matter. If it's longer than 2 sentences, no one's reading it anyway. We don't debate. We dunk, screenshot, and ratio. And you know what's the worst part about this? This means that nobody will actually change their mind. If you reflect on that, when was the last time you saw somebody that publicly said, "Wow, that was actually a good argument. I've reconsidered my position"? Go on, I'll wait. Exactly, that's my point. Because nobody said that on social media. This is now how social media works, I'm afraid. By changing your opinion in real time, this doesn't get you any engagement. You need to double down, you need to get defensive, and you need to call your opponent a brainwashed monkey eating banana poo-poo head sheep. That's where the numbers are. Engagement. Be real. Because even if you're not, if someone actually did admit they were wrong online, you wouldn't seem to be this intellectual growth in your character. You would not see this growth. This could be seen as a weakness, because in today's internet gladiator arena, there's only one rule: never back down. Now, at this point, the idea of actually listening to the other side sounds a bit exhausting, doesn't it? Echo chambers feel nice. Who wouldn't want to live in a world where everyone agrees with them, where your opinions are constantly validated, and where there's always a perfectly crafted villain to point at when things go wrong? But the downside? We stop questioning things. And worse, we lack critical thinking. We start seeing anyone who thinks differently as not just wrong, but as the enemy. You got a different opinion that I like green and you like blue? My friend, you need to die. And you need to be wiped from the face of the earth. Simple. We tell ourselves that they are the problem. They are brainwashed. They are running the world. And suddenly, every disagreement becomes a battle for moral superiority, rather than an actual conversation. We need to relax sometimes. This is so bad for debate, and it actually is bad for everything around us. You name it, society, friendships, even your own critical thinking skills like we mentioned. Because once you start seeing yourself as right by default, as you click in your head the selection box there, you stop learning. Once you've stopped learning, you might as well be yelling into the void or at a wall. The results are gonna be the same. So in hindsight, is there a way out? Can we as a society recover the lost art of debate? This comes with a salty maybe, because it's going to take some effort. It means that you will actually have to listen to people you disagree with, not just waiting for your turn to talk. It means seeking out different viewpoints, instead of letting an algorithm decide what you consume. So this can mean having the courage to admit when you're wrong, even if this might cost you a few likes. Just go with your idea. None of that is as funny as rage commenting on a stranger's TikTok.